Hi everyone. On one of my videos, I believe it's the cheap kayak cart modification, someone left a comment asking how we transport our kayaks to and from the water. And the quick answer is using a trailer. Now to back up just a little bit, my son-in-law bought a trailer from Harbor Freight, put it together, and he put in these guardrails. And I'm going to kind of show you here. Now when my son-in-law put together his Harbor Freight trailer, what he did is he made the sides so they can be removed. I'm just going to give you a close-up here. Now this back panel here was held in place with these pins. And in just a few minutes I'm going to show you how to disassemble it. But the idea is that if you want to use this as a flat trailer, he could just take off the back and front, and he could put things in. So when my grandson and I first started using this trailer to transport our kayaks, we just threw them in the back and strapped them down the best they could, and it just didn't ride very well. So what I decided to do is modify the trailer a little bit and kind of build on what my son-in-law did and make a kayak trailer that could be converted from a kayak trailer back to a standard trailer. And it worked pretty slick. So I'm going to show you in just a second how that is done. So my son-in-law built this and held the back in place with these just simple pins. So remove the pins here from both sides. And he also has a couple pins down below, actually bolts to hold the base in place. But all you have to do then is take this piece here, unbolt it, and it just lifts right out. So I built on the same design of my son-in-law's, except I set this up so it would accommodate two Lifetime Angler fishing kayaks, and those are larger, and then another area up here that would accommodate a couple of recreational kayaks. So just like my son-in-law's design, this just simply goes up here and drops in the slot. Now as you can see, this is something you don't want to do all the time, but the idea is that this would make this trailer a little bit more flexible, so if you want to use it for other things. Once it's in place, then it's a matter of securing it, again, with these bolts to hold everything in place, or these pins. And that's it. And then I have a couple of holes down here where they can put a bolt through, and a couple of wing nuts. So I usually put this from the back side in and pop it through, and then secure it in place with the wing nut. So it takes a few minutes to put this together, but for the most part it's pretty simple. And again, the idea is to provide some flexibility. Okay, once the bolt is through, it's just a matter of putting a washer on and a wing nut to secure it in place. Probably don't need this, but I tend to like to do things as a little bit of an overkill, just to be certain it doesn't fall off. If you want to add a little more protection, you could put a lock washer on here as well. I just didn't feel there was a need. But that's it. Pretty simple, straightforward, and it secures it in place. Okay, the way I designed this is I cut a little slot here. This is just enough to accommodate the keel, and it's raised with two 2x4s on the side here that would support the kayak, so it travels very well. Okay, in the front of the trailer, I took a couple of pool noodles, and what I did is I sliced them down the center, and then I secured them to the 2x4 with larger cable ties. And this is so that the bow of the kayak would sit here and give it some protection. I also added a couple things here. This is a tie that's used on blinds to keep the cords wrapped up out of the way for safety purposes. I also added some bolt screw eyes, and I added these here so that you can use these to attach the ratchet straps. That's it. And again, on top Again, we rarely take the recreational kayaks, but it's set up so that we can take at least 2 recreational kayaks up on top and just secure them in place again with these screw eyes. Okay, now I'm going to give you a quick rundown on how I load the kayak on the trailer. Now typically I'd have help with my grandson, but he's in school today, and being a retired guy I can do this whenever I want. So in just a second I'm going to disconnect my mic because my cable isn't long enough, and I'll show you how this is done. So that the kayak is in place, we secure it with the ratchet strap. Again, the trick is not to over tighten the ratchet strap. Once the ratchet strap's in place, then it's a matter of taking this cord tie and tying up the excess cord or ratchet strap, and then tie it in place. This way it won't flop around when you're out on the road. Pretty simple, straightforward. There is one extra step that we always take when we transport the kayaks. And again, typically we have 2 of them here. What we'll do is we'll put a strap through the handles of the kayak, and we'll take it up and anchor it to one of the bars up here. And just to be safe, to make sure that we don't lose the kayak along the way. It's just extra precaution. And in this particular one, I do like the other types of straps. This is it's not as important to have it really tight. It's just the extra precaution. But again, just extra safety. Okay, everyone, that's our kayak trailer. Again, this is a really handy system. It's a multi-purpose trailer. It's just takes a matter of about 10 or 15 minutes to remove the front and back pieces to convert it from a kayak trailer to a utility trailer. And I gotta mention this, my son-in-law came up with this idea of putting these brackets in here and securing everything in place with these pins. It's really a handy system. And with that being said, I mean, there's some great kayak trailer designs out there that are based on the Harbor Freight trailers. And they're great. They tend to be dedicated trailers. They have PVC tubes and or 2x4s that support the kayak, the full length of the kayak, which is actually very good. The problem is that most of us don't have room to store 2 trailers. You know, this allows us to have 1 trailer and use it for kayak fishing, or use it to haul gravel, 2x4s, drywall, anything we want. It's just a matter of taking 10 or 15 minutes to convert it. So it works great. Again, it's not perfect, but it's a pretty darn good system. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below. And thank you for watching, and happy kayak fishing.